Good evening. Tonight, we're tackling the United States national debt, a number so massive it's almost abstract, $37 trillion. That's a 3 and a 7, followed by 12 zeros. Try counting to that, you'd never finish. The debt grows by about $1 trillion every 100 days. That's the GDP of a small country, added to our tab every few months. You might wonder, surely Washington has a plan to pay it back? Not quite. The real plan isn't about paying it back at all. It's about making the debt less painful. By making the dollars themselves worth less, the government isn't cutting spending or raising taxes. Instead, it's using a financial sleight of hand. The truth? The US has no intention of ever paying back $37 trillion. It can't. Interest payments alone are set to surpass defense spending. Soon, we'll spend more on old debt than on the military. Imagine a credit card bill so high, your minimum payment is bigger than your rent, food, and car combined. At some point, you stop trying to pay it off. You just change the rules of the game. So, what's the secret? You don't pay it back, you just make the debt disappear, by making the dollars you owe worth a lot less. It's not a magic trick with smoke and mirrors. It's a slow, quiet devaluation. Most people won't notice until it's too late, until a loaf of bread costs $50 and their savings buy next to nothing. This is the real story behind the national debt. The government's plan isn't to pay, it's to inflate. And that's where our story begins. How do you erase a debt without paying it? Through devaluation. Imagine borrowing $100, enough to buy 100 loaves of bread. Years later, you repay $100, but now it buys just one loaf. You paid the number back, but not the value. That's the government's playbook. The US owes $37 trillion, a fixed number of dollars. If each dollar is worth less, the real debt shrinks. This isn't default, it's redefining what a dollar is worth. The numbers stay the same, but the value evaporates. This is monetary inflation, a silent default, hidden in rising prices. Governments have done this for centuries. The Romans did it by debasing coins. Today, it's done with a keystroke at the Federal Reserve. Every new dollar printed dilutes the value of all dollars, including those in your savings. The beauty of this plan? Its subtlety. No headlines scream dollar slashed, just steady price increases. People call it inflation as if it's natural, but it's policy. A hidden tax that punishes savers and rewards debtors. And the biggest debtor of all is the US government. They're inflating their way out of a hole, using your purchasing power as the shovel. You don't see the theft until your money buys less and less. That's the real cost of the national debt, and it's happening right now. If the plan is to devalue the dollar, how do you keep confidence from collapsing? You need an anchor, something real. Enter gold and Bitcoin, the government's secret weapons. The US Treasury holds over 100 tons of gold, officially valued at a laughable $42 per ounce, while the real price is thousands. And thanks to asset seizures, the government is now one of the world's largest Bitcoin holders. Both assets exist outside the traditional system. Their value isn't set by government policy. Here's the trick. At a moment of crisis, the government can revalue its gold and Bitcoin reserves at much higher prices. Instantly, trillions in new assets appear on the balance sheet, making the debt look manageable. The $37 trillion debt shrinks when your gold and Bitcoin are suddenly worth $40 trillion. It's an accounting magic trick, restoring confidence after gutting the dollar's value. The public sees a strong balance sheet, not the trick behind the curtain. This is the classic bait and switch. The government wins, savers lose, and the cycle continues. If this sounds far-fetched, remember, it's happened before. Right here in America. In 1933, during the Great Depression, FDR made it illegal for citizens to own gold. People had to turn in their gold for paper dollars. Then, the government raised the official gold price from $20.67 to $35 per ounce. Instantly, the dollar lost 41% of its value against gold. The government's balance sheet looked healthier overnight, and it had more money to spend. But for ordinary Americans, their savings were gutted. Prices soared. They traded real money for paper, then watched that paper get devalued. It wasn't a bailout, it was a stick-up. This set a precedent. When the government needs to, it will rewrite the rules. And it can happen again. The playbook is already written. So, what's happening now? The new gold rush is on, only this time, it's gold and Bitcoin. Central banks worldwide are buying gold at record rates, moving away from US dollars. They see the writing on the wall. The dollar's reign is ending. The US sits on its gold hoard, waiting for the right moment to reprice it. Meanwhile, the government is quietly accumulating Bitcoin through asset seizures, Bitfinex, Silk Road, and more. This two-pronged strategy is simple. Hold the world's most trusted hard asset and the world's most disruptive digital asset. By holding both, the US can control the monetary reset no matter which asset wins. Gold is the old world's money, Bitcoin is the new. The US is hedging its bets, cornering both markets while the public is distracted. When the reset comes, they'll be ready. The public? Not so much. The accumulation is nearly complete. The stage is set. The next act is coming. A plan this big needs legal groundwork. Quietly, through executive orders and obscure bills, the government is building the framework for a financial reset. Executive Order 14067, for example, called for research into a US central bank digital currency. Programmable money, controlled by the government. A CBDC could let them deposit stimulus, track spending, or even expire your funds. Meanwhile, new crypto regulations are being debated, giving agencies the power to control, tax, or seize digital assets. It's about building the cage before the public realizes they're in it. These moves echo FDR's gold confiscation, only now, it's digital. The government isn't seizing assets yet, but it's creating the tools and legal authority to do so. The chessboard is set, the pieces are moving. How does this play out? 3 phases. Accumulation, crisis, revaluation. We're in accumulation now. Government amassing gold and Bitcoin, quietly. Next comes crisis. A debt meltdown, a bank collapse, or a geopolitical shock. Panic sets in. The public demands a solution. Then, revaluation. The government marks its gold and Bitcoin reserves to sky-high prices. Instantly, trillions in new assets appear, making the debt look manageable. The dollar is devalued, but now backed by revalued gold and Bitcoin. A new digital currency, maybe a CBDC, is rolled out, airdropped to citizens. The government claims victory. Crisis solved, your money is safe. But the real story? The largest wealth transfer in history, from savers to the state. The public gets a reset. The government gets a clean slate, and the cycle begins anew. What does this mean for you? In a word, pain. Devaluing the dollar means your savings lose purchasing power, fast. Your $100,000 might still be $100,000, but it'll buy what $10,000 does today. Retirees and anyone on a fixed income will be hit hardest. Their checks won't stretch nearly as far. Savers, the responsible ones, will be punished most. Their prudence wiped out by policy. Globally, a dollar devaluation would shock the system. Countries holding US debt would see their assets evaporate. The world would rush into gold, Bitcoin, and anything real. The wealth gap would explode. Those who saw it coming and protected themselves would survive. Everyone else? Left holding worthless paper. The reset won't be fair. Most people will start over, poorer than before. The government escapes its debt. The public pays the price. That's the real endgame, and it's closer than you think. We're standing on the edge of a planned financial demolition. The debt is unpayable. The money printer is running. The government is stockpiling hard assets. The legal framework is in place. The precedent is clear. This isn't if, it's when. The endgame: devalue the dollar, revalue hard assets, and clean up the government's balance sheet at your expense. The most dangerous move now is doing nothing. Trusting the system is trusting a smiling arsonist with a can of gasoline. This isn't financial advice, but it is a warning. Understand the game. The government's goal is survival, even if it means sacrificing your savings. The plan is in motion. The only question: will you be a pawn or a player? More debt, more printing, more inflation. The crisis will come, and the solution will cost you. They'll offer a shiny new digital currency, while robbing the value of your old one. So pay attention. Learn the difference between real assets and printable currency. Don't be the one left holding the bag. Good night.